Hello and welcome back to another episode of Critical Reactions with your host Bryan. We're going to wrap up this week with some brand new music. Mission Jupiter has been on the channel a couple of times prior. They emailed me recently and said, hey, we've got some new music out. We'd like for you to make a reaction to it. So that's what we're going to do today. This track is called Revelation. And if you enjoy it, one, the album that this is on came out just a couple of months ago, but two, over on their website, they had a brand new premiere in this live studio session series of releases today. I guess about like 5 hours ago or so. So you can go over there and check out more songs from these studio sessions. Let's dive into this one though. It's called Revelation. See what's going on with Mission Jupiter today. So a super compressed filtered opening, raising intensity. Ooh, delayed the impact by a couple of beats. I like the vocal layering that was over here. Lots of energy, big bass tone, no bass, but big guitar tone. Yeah! A little bit of that rock grit on the vocals. Lots of forward placement and projection. There's some neat textures on the outside that feel like magnetic fields. Good contrast between our highs and lows. Hear that? Really interesting. I guess it's the guitar. Yeah, hung on to that energy just a bit before dipping into this bridge, presumably. Oh, really cool textures on that reverb vocals. Double time. Bass kick syncopation, 2 and 4 snare accent. One, two, three, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. A lot of this song has been focused on 2-beat ideas, like the backbeat 2 and 4 on the drums. Breaking that up into the 3-3-2 is a nice change of pace. Interesting. Yeah, that's a cool little mix there between, I mean, obviously it's a hard rock track through and through. It's got the guitar tones, it's got the riff writing, the drum patterns, the vocal delivery. This is a hard rock track, but I like the inclusion of the electronic elements as well. I think they do a great job at kind of bringing a texture focus alongside the drive, energy, momentum, and riff and melody writing. I'm also, this isn't about the music, but I want to get this out of the way before we dive into the music. I love that the video doesn't have any audio delay on it. One of the things, it's a pet peeve of mine. It shows up so often, which is why I haven't really brought it up anytime before. It's very clear with drumming though, when you can see the stick hit the drum head and the sound either came before or usually after. I'm just thinking the editor's job is to sync the audio and the video up in situations like this. Why is it off? It's, dude, it's so bad. But in here, it's perfect. Everything is perfectly in sync, and I love it. AV, perfect, perfect synchronicity. And I love seeing the drummer hit it, and I hear the snare when it looks like it's supposed to happen. Props to the video editor on this one. Like I said, I know that's like a weird thing to go on about, but it's important to me for some reason. I don't know why, it irritates me. And it's so prevalent. I think that's the most irritating. Anyways, I'll start ranting. What's going on in this track though? First of all, fantastic energy right from the start. We have a cool buildup. We have this compressed filter effect going on that kind of makes it sound distant, quiet, muffled, far away. We kind of lessen those so it can grow over time. There's this cool synth sound that's going on alongside of it. And right at the very end, we have the vocals come in with their phrase that helps kick into the downbeat there. It does go a little bit longer than I expect. After the 4 bars, I kind of expect that 5th bar to be the drop, and it isn't. I think there's only 3 beats there. I got to go back and listen. It didn't feel like a full bar though. I thought that was really interesting because the drop it wasn't what I anticipated. It was after my anticipation, but also sooner than I expected based off of my new expectation because of the extension. It kept me on my feet, which that's just really interesting right there. But once we got into the song proper, I mean, it's just heavy. It's driving. We got these big sounds coming in. The bass and the guitar are massive. The drummer's laying down these, the big 2 and 4 backbeat right here, keeping the song pushing forward. The vocals come in. Like I had mentioned, they're very forward placed, lots of projection. Definitely has that heavy metal sound, not heavy metal, the hard rock sound to it. And it's just high energy, very bright sounds from the vocalist, which contrasts the bassier sound of the guitars. It's just really well balanced for width, size, body, and momentum. It's not heavy, or not heavy enough that it feels like it drags, but it isn't light enough that it sounds like it's missing the energy. It is a rock track. It's supposed to be driving and energetic, and it absolutely captures all of this. The production on this is solid, and it is a good hard rock opening right here. We do have highs and lows though. The chorus hits a pretty big peak. The second verse kind of brings us down a little bit. We have this nice riding wave of highs and lows throughout the rest of the track. There is one place where I feel the song isn't very dynamic, and maybe it's to its benefit. It's the rhythmic component. We do have a little bit of a push and pull between the full time, which I would call the 2 and 4 beat. That's our full time. We have a half time where we only have 1 accent per bar. And then we also have a double time where we have an accent on, oh no, we don't have a double time. Yeah, so we have full and half. And that allows the song to feel like we're getting faster and slower, this push and pull rhythmically. But it is a pretty consistent sound. And I really liked in the bridge, wherever it was in the bridge, where we shifted from the focus on pure symmetry to the 3-3-2, 3-3-2 rhythm, because that creates just a little bit of rhythmic variation in the song. Now, granted, it's short enough that hyper-focusing on a rhythmic idea works okay for it. It doesn't really get a chance to become boring. It doesn't really get a chance to overstay its welcome. The song's short enough, we can stick with it. And honestly, having that short, what did we do that for, like 4 bars, 8 bars maybe? It was rather short that we did the 3-3-2, but it was enough to change things up for a small amount of time, allowing us to pull back to the symmetrical side of things for the outro, and none of it really gets stagnant. It's short enough runtime for that, but I would like to see a little bit more rhythmic diversity on tracks. But, you know, like I said, it also might work for its benefit. This is a song that's really about weight. You know, I'm going to retract my last statement. I don't think this song needs more rhythmic dexterity to it because it is about weight. Especially when you look at the chorus, you got those big belted notes, the vocalist just holds them out, the guitar, we got this big strum, and it does that wow, that cool, like, I don't know, it still sounds like a magnetic field to me. It's really about holding on to these moments. Even the more driving element in the verse still feels a bit restrained in weight. None of this song feels like we're sprinting. We never really reach that high, like, rabid energy moment. It is always restrained, and I think sticking with the 2 and 4 backbeat on this helps lend that. If we had more syncopation on this track, it would feel maybe too dexterous for the atmosphere they're going for. So actually, I think they're right on point here, and having a little bit of syncopation at the bridge is probably the best way to go about that, because it allows a little bit of contrast in that moment without detracting from the atmosphere of the song. Yeah, it works. I walked this back. That works. I should never have said anything bad about that. I do like also the general push and pull of the song's motion. And I kind of mentioned this with the rhythmic element, the full time and the halftime, creating these 2 different feels, but also the vocals and the guitars, like I just mentioned, they lean into this too. There are some sections where the vocals, they have, they quickly move through syllables, and other times it was just belting out these big notes. It compounds with what the drummer's doing, with what the guitarist is doing, to really lean into this push and pull rhythmically. And I wonder how much of that is thematically tied to the lyrics. How much of this song is about maybe trying to balance 2 sides of something, or, I don't know, moving from one state to another. It is called revelation, which is usually an enlightening moment where there is a clear divide between what things were and where things are. Maybe that's what a lot of this push and pull is all about then. There's some nice synth work in here. I do think that the texture work on here is what stands out to me the most. The riffs in here are good, but I don't think that there was any that were super memorable. The more driving riff in the bridge stands out to me a little bit, the 3-3-2 one, but a lot of the time the guitars are texture, their atmosphere, along with the bass guitar filling out the low end. The drum patterns, like I said, usually more on the metronomic side, really locking into a sound. The vocal melodies can be catchy, but the textures, I think, are what sell me on this. It's what crafts everything. This is an atmosphere first song, and it really is about bringing all these textures together to do that. If you just played this song on acoustic instrumentation, it would not work. It would be fine, it just wouldn't capture this vibe. It's about the size of the guitar, it's about the distortion effects, it's about the warble. Look at the bridge, right? What was the cool thing that happened there? The vocalist said something and it got echoed and delayed, and there was put like more reverby, like wavy sounds on it, became more distant. It tells a story through the effects and the textures more so than through melody. I think the one time that melody really stands out for me is when we move away from the more restrained vocal deliveries in the verse, and I'm not saying they're super restrained, but compared to the chorus where the vocalist is just belting these notes out, that feels free. It feels like these chains have been removed, or maybe even forcefully, pulling yourself out of these chains and just being able to do this massive stuff. Having that freedom back, that power where you were powerless before. Revelation kind of fits with that. That's the one time I think the melody really hits me in a storytelling manner on this track. Everything else is texture and atmosphere. In fact, now that I think about this idea of chains and being weighed down, the feeling of the song being as weighty and heavy as it is absolutely works with that. A feeling of not being free, of under constraints and pressure. And I think that makes the chorus hit even harder, if that is something that the song is purposefully trying to deliver. Because that's, the more I think about it, that is a consistent narrative for me, especially as the bridge gets more driving. It feels like we're kind of taking that freedom from the previous chorus and running with it. Pun intended. Yeah, this is solid. Like I mentioned, this album came out a couple of months ago. It is called, I think I'm going to have to get back to you on what it's called. It's called Aftermath. If this sounds interesting to you, you can check that out. I'll certainly be checking it out. I didn't know they had an album out, which I'm going to put on me. I should have been paying attention to them because I've enjoyed a lot of their previous works. But somehow this one flew under my radar, so I'm glad they emailed me. Let's check out some lyrics. All right, lyrically, this is a song about taking every opportunity that comes your way and getting back up when you fall off the horse. Says, my life is so bizarre. That's how it starts. It's actually it's at the end of the second verse as well. I kind of felt like I heard that more than just twice, but okay, so it's only, it's at the end of the first verse too. So verse 1 talks about having doubts and gloom, that your revelations are so far away from you. Says that they're on the other side of the moon. Says that I've been asked 1,000 times if I know the reason why my life is so bizarre. This is an interesting way to start a song about manifesting your own positivity in life and taking chances everywhere you can get in order to live life to the fullest. But I think I think it does a good job of setting up the narrator as anybody. I think that's my favorite part about it, because there's certainly feel-good tracks about doing the best you can, living your best life, and they always kind of present or are presented by a vocalist or a character in a story who seems to have everything figured out. Not very relatable in that sense. And I like how this is a song about always getting back up, always reaching for the stars. And it starts out and says, I'm full of doubts and gloom. My revelations, they're so distant from me. I don't always know what's going to happen. I don't always know how my life is going to turn around. I don't always know that my actions are going to have worthwhile, end results to them. And people around me think my life is bizarre and they ask me why. Kind of standing out a little bit here. The chorus says, rise, don't be down. The dreaming helps to ease your way. Says, life makes fun of me. I'm still one step behind. So I like that because once again, it presents somebody who doesn't have everything figured out. They're always just a tad bit behind everything else, but it doesn't keep them down. They rise and they dream. It helps them find their way. They have goals. I love that messaging. The bridge says, isolated, I turn around. We adapted to the present life. Did humans' hopes dissolve? I think so, but mine are still so close. So come on, I go on. Fortune comes and I have to see, even if there's no clear guarantee. It just says I have to keep pushing. I have to keep going. It doesn't matter how much life gets me down. It doesn't matter how isolated I feel like I've become. It doesn't matter how distant I feel from the majority of humans. I have goals in mind. I need to chase them down, whether I succeed or not. And I really like this message. It is that, there's a lot of feel good, energetic, anthemic songs about going out and striving for your dreams, but they always feel too optimistic. I like this one. It feels relatable in a way that those anthemic songs don't always. And I think it aligns with a lot of what's going on in this track. It is powerful. It is about breaking free of any restraints that you have and chasing down what's important to you. The music is about getting off of this, getting this big weight off of you and finding driving momentum in order to chase these dreams, to belt out these sounds as loud as you can because they're important to you. Yeah, there's a lot of things that line up here, and I quite enjoy that. But these are just my thoughts on Revelation by Mission Jupiter. What do you think about it? Did you enjoy it? Is there anything you'd like to add on to the conversation? Maybe correct me on if I misspoke about something. Do you have your own interpretation of this track? Please put any of that and whatever other thoughts you might have down into the comment section below. In the description box, you'll find a link to Linktree. Takes you here. You can find links to my music, ways to support the channel, a link to the Discord server. There will also be a link to Mission Jupiter's Bandcamp page and maybe some other streaming platforms or social medias I can find, so that if you enjoyed this, you can quickly connect with the band, find more of the music, all that good stuff. Above that, like, subscribe, and ring the bell. If you head over to any of Mission Jupiter's pages, make sure to heart, like, subscribe, follow, whatever's going on there. Show them some love from the Critical Reactions community. That's going to wrap it up for today. Until next time, remember to be critical, not cynical, of the music you listen to, and have a fantastic morning, afternoon, or evening whenever you choose to watch my videos.